Alright guys, so it's Anton and we're back with a brand new video. So in the last two videos I showed you guys how to add a role to a user, and then the video after that I showed you guys how to add multiple roles to a user. So it only makes sense for us to go over how to delete a role from a user. Okay, so again, I highly recommend you guys watch the previous videos so you guys are following along, but no worries, we're going to go ahead and implement the delete role command. So we're going to go ahead and add another else if case, and we're going to check to see if the command is going to be del for delete. Okay, and all we're going to do here is we're just going to kind of like copy and paste the same thing that we have over here. So the only difference is that now we're going to delete a role from a user. Okay, so to do that, we're doing literally the same exact thing. It's just the we're just doing the inverse of what we did with adding the role. So honestly, we're just going to copy and paste this down here. But don't worry, I'm going to explain to you guys what it's doing, so don't worry. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and instead of add, there should be a method called .remove, and this pretty much removes the role from the user. Okay, and again, I'm going to explain what I'm doing, so don't worry. So you remove the role, you cannot remove yourself from this role. You already, if they have the role. Okay, so let me just walk through what's really going on. Okay, so what we're doing here on line 51 is we are pretty much, okay, so the way this command is going to work is we're going to say DL, Twitter, Facebook, computer science, streamer, etc, etc, right? Whatever roles they want to delete themselves to. So question mark DL. Okay, so again, if you watch the last video, you'll know that we only care about the arguments, we don't care about the command name. So we're getting the substring starting at position 5, because position 5 starts at Twitter. So that's going to get us it's going to get us the entire substring starting from position 5, which is where T starts, all the way to the end. Okay, because we only care about the arguments. Okay, once we have the arguments, what we're doing is we're splitting up those arguments with a comma and a space, because that's how we're splitting up the arguments, right? We want to get all of those role names and put it into an array, and the easiest way to do that is using the .split function. And in case if there are people adding duplicates, we just simply convert the array to a set. Okay, and then over here we are just destructuring the cache property from the role manager object. Okay, because the cache, it holds all of the roles that exist on the guild, and we're going to use the cache to add or remove users from the role. Okay, the cache that's part of the role manager. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're referencing the role set variable, and the role set is a set. Okay, which means that it's a data structure that can hold any type of element, but all the elements are distinct. So you cannot add the same element to a set. Okay, because sets are distinct. Okay, so we're calling the for each function to iterate through every single element in the set, and the set contains all of the names of the roles that we're trying to delete ourselves from. So what we're doing here on line 56 is we are just simply checking to see if the role exists inside the guild, and if it does, we're doing a couple checks. Now in the add role function, in the add role command, we had to check to see if the user already had the role, and if they did, we weren't going to add themselves to it. But this time it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to check to see if the user already has the role, and if they do, then we're going to remove them from the role. So we're just going to honestly get rid of that we just got up there. We're going to cut that, paste that up here. Okay, so again, if the user has the role, so if message.member.roles.cache.has.role.id, okay, if that is true, we're going to remove them from the role, and that's it. Okay, we don't really need to check for permissions or anything else, really, because it doesn't really matter. And first of all, they should never really have the role with the permissions anyways. Okay, so yeah, that should pretty much be it with the remove role command. So let's go ahead and try that out. So right now we have Twitter, Snapchat, computer science. So we're just going to go ahead and try to do Twitter in computer science. you remove from this role, and there you go. It removed this from the role. And if I do question mark delete Snapchat, and if I try to remove myself from Snapchat, even though I don't have the role, it's gonna not really say anything, which it doesn't really matter. You can send a message if you want to, but you can see that it doesn't have the role, so nothing happened. Okay, but again, you can add an else case if you want to let the user know that you do not have the role. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, if I want to, what are the rules? I have the bot role. I think I should be able to, yeah, something went wrong, because again, like in the last video, like I mentioned, the bot cannot manage roles that are higher than starting from the bot role itself. Okay, so the bot cannot remove me from the bot role, but it can remove me from any other role and add me to any other role that's underneath the bot role. Okay, so yeah, again, once again, the deleting roles from a user are very, very, very straightforward. It's just, again, it's just the inverse of adding users to a role. Okay, so hopefully I did a good job at explaining what this whole logic does. And of course, if you have any questions, just feel free to ask down in the comments below. But again, all I did was I just took the code from the add role command. I pasted it down here because the logic was very, very similar. And I just replaced a couple of text, and I just got rid of the other two conditions. Okay, so I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.